What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So we got some pretty interesting news come through today. I actually decided to sleep in a little bit today, and it was probably a bad idea because I woke up and then we had all kinds of news come through. So this video, I want to focus only on the new champion balancing, but we also have a guaranteed event coming with Ancient Shards. We have some 10x event going on. We have a lot of pretty interesting stuff going on, but here, let's focus on the champion balances happening. And honestly, I was pretty excited to see these champions. Let me share my screen with you guys because previous balances, I feel like we actually haven't gotten very many champions who really needed buffs. I mean, yeah, they were lackluster, but some of them I felt kind of weird about, like Shirmani, for example. I felt like she was amazing as it was, but these champions are actually all pretty bad, and I don't really know if these changes are going to change much. I think the biggest one is Woad-Painted, and Woad-Painted may lose her meme status of being the worst legendary inside of, or not, sorry, not legendary, the worst epic inside of Raid, basically. I mean, it's this lipstick, this look. I mean, even her portrait, it just says, yo, why would I want to click this champion, huh? But Woad-Painted, I think she gets a little decent buff, actually. So let's check out Necro Hunter. Necro Hunter is the very first one, so his A1 is now going to be, we'll actually get Woad-Painted off the screen there. I really can't talk with her just standing in the background. So here we go. The first one is Necro Hunter. I got some information pulled up on Hell Hades' website as well, so we can go over the multipliers and see how this may be. So his A1 used to just attack one enemy, kind of basic. Now it's going to attack all enemies one time. Also, if this attack is critical. Now I assume it's attack one, and then it's an additional attack to all enemies because they need something to actually proc the if this attack is critical, right? The second ability is cooldown decreased from 5 to 4 turns. And the aura is he now has an increases allied crit rate in all battles by 19%, which I think is very nice. So let's go over here to Hell Hades' website and take a look at Necro Hunter. So Necro Hunter's A1 ability, assuming they don't change the multipliers whatsoever, is a 2 multiplier. So that's pretty good for his A1 ability. It's going to be an AoE now, and it shouldn't get any damage reduced from that. So that's pretty decent. His A2 is, I believe, the second one that's getting changed, or maybe it's a Tomb Stalker. I think his A2 is getting left the same. His A3, which is Tomb Stalker, is getting changed, and that is just reducing the cooldown. It hits pretty hard, but places a perfect veil on this champion for 2 turns if this attack is critical. So you're going to be building him with crit, right? But to be honest, I don't know if Necro Hunter is really going to be used much past what he was before. You guys can let me know what you think about it down below. I do like seeing these changes on these champions who are just pretty much just power crept. They're OG champions. They're just not really that great anymore. Nobody really uses them that much. But I don't think Necro Hunter is going to get any time in the spotlight. Now, Kalia, I used to use her quite a bit, but I don't use her at all anymore. So her A1, or I believe Superheated Hammer, damage increased. The Curse of Nullity, damage increased there as well. We're going to check out what the multipliers already are. And then attacks all enemies has a 75% chance instead of a 50% chance of placing 100% heal reduction for 2 turns. So that's very nice. Books up to 100%. If you're going for heal reduction, maybe you want to go for like a Mortu Macabre combo, because Mortu gets a guaranteed block buffs if he has heal reduction already applied to the enemy. So that's kind of neat. And then heals his champion by 10% of the damage inflicted when a Tur is on the same team. A Tur, one of those champions you probably aren't going to be using, but Kalia's A1, 2.8, it's a pretty good multiplier. It's a single target. Places a burn, I believe, yeah. So places a burn, damage increased. It's probably not going to be significant, so I don't know if this is enough to actually bump her into actually being used. Her A2 attacks all enemies, and it is a heal reduction, so the damage was boosted there as well. Yes, it is. 3.5 multiplier there. So both of her abilities hit fairly hard already. I guess if it has a huge boost, maybe she could become a nuker in the arena. Let's go up here and look at her base attack. Her base attack is 1597. So actually a pretty good base attack. So if that got a good boost, maybe she could be a nuker in the arena. Definitely something worth testing out when that time comes. Now the next champion is going to be, if I can zoom out of this and go to the next one, Frostbringer. Now Frostbringer is an interesting kit because if you look over here, she doesn't have anything that actually brings frost. Like her whole name is a lie. Like it sets you up to think, okay, she's going to be like Shirmani, actually bringing some freezes, something, but she doesn't. Unless I'm just missing something other than her dress for the cold, she has no freezes, which is very, very interesting to say the least. But look at her buffs. We have Cone of Cold, attacks 2 times at random, 30% chance of placing 100% heal reduction. Nice. They're really going for heal reduction, I feel like. A lot of these champions have heal reduction, and they're trying to boost those chances. Also, I realized just now that we have the black chat box in the bottom right corner. Let me switch scenes here. Hopefully that wasn't on that like that the whole time. Snow Flurry attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense for 2 turns. Damage, 10%, 10%, 10%, and 15% debuff chance, and then cooldown. Honestly, Snow Flurry, let's see what it hit for before. 2.2 multiplier, honestly, I don't think this change for Frostbringer is going to do much at all, simply because she's not really an outstanding champion anyway. Now, the next champion is probably the favorite here, the one that was in the title. So this is Woad-Painted. She has a pretty big text box here. I'm actually going to hide my webcam so we can read over this so you guys can see it without having to dodge my head. So her base speed is increased from 92 to 97. Very nice. Her cross-up ability, damage will be based on HP alone instead of attack and HP, which is very nice because now you can just solely focus on her HP versus trying to put some attack on there, which may not really make that much sense. Undying Fury removes all debuffs from this champion and one random debuff from all allies. Then heals this champion by 100% of their max HP and heals all allies equal to 50% of the surplus heal afterwards, places a 30% reflect damage buff on all allies for 2 turns, then grants this champion extra turn. This is actually a really good buff to an ability that was basically useless before. I'm going to read her last one and then we're going to compare them. So the last one is cooldown decreased from 5 turns to 4 turns, 3 turns when booked. Attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a block active skills debuff for 2 turns. So this ability, not great because it's very single target. I'm still not a huge fan of it, but this A2 ability took her from being very, very selfish to now actually may make some sense as a support in some teams because it's going to be a lower cooldown because you're getting an extra turn. It's essentially going to be a lower cooldown, not actually a lower cooldown, but you're getting that extra turn. You're healing 100% of this champion's max HP. So if she was at 50,000 HP, okay, say she took no damage whatsoever, and you healed 100% of her HP, she's going to heal everybody else for 50% of that HP, okay? So if you were at 50,000 HP, then she's going to heal everybody for 25,000 HP. That's actually a pretty significant heal, assuming she's going to be staying alive. They removed all debuffs from this champion. Very nice, but that's the thing that's always been there. Let's go over here to Hell Hades website and see. So it already did remove everything from this champion, but then it just fully healed this champion and placed a reflect damage buff on this champion. But now it actually places a reflect damage buff on all allies, heals all the other allies for 50% of the surplus heals, and gives her an extra turn. I think, if anything, if all these champions on this list, Woad-Painted is the one who, if any of them are going to see any use after this buff, I believe she will see the use. I think Necro Hunter may get a little bit of testing done. Kalia actually may possibly be moving up into a nuker status, but it all depends on what the multipliers are. They could literally come in here, take Kalia's multipliers on her A2, and take them from a 3.5 to 3.6. That's not really that big of a deal, right? And if they do something like that, then it's going to make her basically useless as she was before. Well, she does have some uses on the Frostbringer. If you have no HP burn, I have used her like that before. But either way, guys, I think the Woad-Painted buff is actually pretty nice, to be honest. It took a champion who was just an absolute meme in the raid community. Like, you pull her, and she's basically as good as being food. I don't think she's top tier, nowhere near that right now, but she does bring some actual utility to your team. And reflect damage, that's nice. I mean, I love seeing people in the arena when they come across the line to attack me, hit my reflect damage from my molly, and then just die in the middle of the arena match. It's actually pretty funny to watch. It's one of the things that I enjoy inside of Raid Shadow Legends. But guys, let me know what you think about the buffs down below. I'll try to do a video later on about the shard pulls if you guys are interested, as far as if you should pull during these events, my opinions on that. But either way, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video.